Welcome to Turn It Up, and we've got a special guest, one of Cessnock's finest, Billy Peden. Thanks for coming on, Bill.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Growing up in a mad rugby league town like Cessnock and your dad owning the best pub in town, we actually spent a lot of time together, believe it or not. Gary used to spend a lot of time at Peden's Hotel. But growing up in a pub in Cessnock, what was that like?
Yeah, probably not your usual upbringing, Joe. You know, we heard a lot of fights out the window and maybe a few domestic arguments from down the street up in my bedroom at 10:30 at night when Dad wasn't coming home and Mum was coming to pick him up. So, yeah, it was an interesting childhood. Put that
and playing for the Goannas? Because you didn't come to the Knights till you were 24?
Yeah, in the off-season of 94.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was 23 turning 24 when I first got to the Knights. I'd played 5 full seasons.
With Cessnock?
Senior grade. We came last for 4 and second last for the 5th. So it was a nice thing to go back to the Knights.
Was it always footy as a boy?
Yeah, it was always footy. I loved it, you know. I loved the game. I loved the camaraderie, just the whole thing.
What did you like about going to the NRL? What did you like about going to the Knights?
Well, it was just refreshing, you know, to go amongst a bunch of people that were really focused on winning and performing, you know. Like I hadn't been, like we'd been local footy, you know, so everyone knows how much you can enjoy local footy. But to go to that other environment where it's next level, where it's all about excellence, and got blokes like him expecting excellence all the time, you know, demanding it. So it was good to go to that.
I spoke to a player when they left footy and he said that was the thing that they missed most, was going to a work environment where people are like highly motivated. And he said that's what you don't sort of get a lot of the time outside of footy. So what are you doing now? Like what's filling that gap? Yeah,
I work at the coal loader, so which is a blue collar industry, which outside of the footy bubble you actually get to hear the health of the game, you know what I mean? Like people tell you the truth, how they think it is, you know, all you know, everyone understands gamesmanship and all that sort of stuff, but the laying down, trying to get penalties and that, the average Joe hates that. You know what I mean? Like, and so do I. But you know, like I say, I understand it and understand why they do it, but just wish they wouldn't.
We lived together for a while in the mid-90s. We had some rules in the house. I think we were both injured. Yeah. We got a chin-up bar and said, righto, if anyone opens the fridge, you've got to do 10 chin-ups. When we're on the sip, having a beer, mate, the next day my back was... Billy goes, your shout. That were fun times.
They were good times, mate. We enjoyed it. It was hard work, but yeah, we enjoyed ourselves as well. So
you talk about the camaraderie, and I don't know, there's something about the Newcastle group, and especially through your era, a really connected group. You obviously do some stuff with Mark Hughes and his foundation now, and what is it about that group of men?
Oh, I think footy breeds that, and it's not just Newcastle, you know, like the game demands that you be mates. You can't do it. It's too hard to do if you don't love it and you don't love the people you're doing it with. You know? If you're to be a mercenary and do it, it's too hard, you know, so you got to love what you're doing.
Do you reckon because we all lived close to each other?
I think
we're in Sydney, you sort of live here, there and everywhere.
I think it really helps, and it really helps you do that.
Yeah,
like if someone's going for a beer or someone's going for coffee, you know, everyone's within 15 minutes. You know, there's not someone out the Shire or to get to St George or whatever. You know, that geographically makes it easier. But you also have to like the people too. You know, we were lucky in that era. We were all pretty good mates. You know, so and quite a few of us still great mates now. You know, we just did a walk and Adam Muir was there and you know, all those boys. You know, so Hughesy come for a day. So it was it's excellent to be part of.
And you've been right behind the Mark Hughes Foundation. Every year they do a trek. Kokoda, Everest, Kilimanjaro, all that. You've pretty much done every one, Bill.
I've done pretty close. The why is, you look at one of your mates and he's in the fight of your life. Like we just spoke about camaraderie and footy. He's in the fight of his life. How do you do nothing? You know, so he asked me to be an ambassador for the foundation, so I'll do whatever I can to help him out. And seeing some of the stories, you're looking at the screen there, see some of the people that are walking, and through the foundation you meet these people that have brain cancer and the journeys and what they have to go through and their families have to go through. We've got to do something about it, you know what I mean? It's, you know, it gets very little government funding, so it's up to the everyday Joes to get out and do their best. And like I say, we go to Mount Everest, we go to Kilimanjaro, we do all that. And people pay for that themselves. They pay it out of their own pocket and they get people to donate money. It takes their leave, you know, so they're sort of sacrificing time with their families to do that for people fighting brain cancer.
97 grand final, you played out of position, you actually played hooker. And then in 2001, you scored 2 tries. That must have been sensational.
Yeah, like it was interesting, the whole hooker thing, you know. Brett Clements got injured, I think, just before the final. And Malcolm came up to me and he said, "Oh, what do you think about playing hooker?" I said, "You know, I'd probably prefer to stay in the second row where I've been sort of enjoying it." And he said, "Oh, I'm not asking if you're playing hooker." So.
And then this one, Bill?
This one was just, you know, I suppose when you're a kid playing footy in the backyard, that's the stuff you dream of, isn't it? You know, like scoring a try, well, the first try in a grand final, and actually winning the game, you know. So to get another one sort of topped it off a bit.
It's hard to talk about yourself when you're so humble. Joey, I'll ask you, what about Billy playing alongside someone like Bill, an unsung hero of the team that probably doesn't get the accolades, you know, publicly that he deserves?
Well, Bill set the standard at training. Every time we trained, Billy set the standard, and then Billy set the standard on the field. If someone needed to be whacked, you used to whack them. You'd give away. You'd only played at 88 kilos.
Yeah,
or when we'd weigh in at training, Billy used to take sinkers in his pocket. Oh, look, I'm 91 kilos.
That's a true story, because they said you had to be 100 kilos to play first grade, and I was struggling to get to 90. And I'm going, mate, I'm no chance here.
Yeah, but Bill set the standard on the training paddock, on the field, and then whenever we'd get together, Billy was always organising it. And it's something you used to do now. The boys still get together. Chief, Mark Hughes, Danny Badeiras, the Gidley boys.
Yeah.
You all get together. Crusher Crow.
Crusher Crow.
You all get them in the morning and train, and then go have breakfast. How important still having that connection with the team?
It's huge. It's great for everyone's mental health. You know, I think that's something that people forget to talk about sometimes when you finish footy. That loss of camaraderie and that to get together and actually physically train as well. Not just get together and have a coffee or a beer or whatever. To actually get out, get the endorphins, get into the ocean, do stuff like that. It's incredibly good for your mental health. You know.
You've got some family members that are actually hanging out with footy players as well, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I was just wondering what I did to deserve that. No.
How's that like, having that connection to the team at the moment?
No, it's really good actually. It's young Phoenix Crossland is the hooker and been playing lock the last couple of weeks for the Knights. He's a great young kid. Really come along in the last couple of years and matured and turned into a great young kid or great young man, I should say, really, and probably one of the leaders in the team at the moment. So, you know, he just played his 100th game on the weekend. Unfortunately, it wasn't a win for him, but yeah, he's been really coming on. So
I remember he told myself and Danny Badeiras, I'm starting to go over Billy's daughter. We went, "Come here, mate. You know Billy's a thrashing machine. And just make sure you do the right thing."
No, I haven't had to do anything like that, mate. He's been good, so it's...
What about the current team? That obviously means so much to the Newcastle area and the Hunter. Going through a bit of a tough time at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a tough time for a long time, Billy, to be fair. You know, we've made, the last couple of years, made runs to get into the semis, but as Andrew will tell you, we live and breathe the club. It's, you know, it's super important to us and the community, you know, and when the team's going well, the community has a really good feel. So, yeah, we are in tough times, but you know, look at the last 3 games. We probably should have beat the Roosters. There was some contentious calls there from the video ref, and beat the Dolphins, who had been putting 50 on everyone weeks leading up to that, and then to go within the try of the current leaders. It's, you know, it's probably maybe not as bad as it sounds, but with the injuries, it's going to be a tough job on the
Our spiritual leader, and always will be, Paul Harrigan, Chief. Tell us about playing with Chief.
Oh, he just loved it. He was like everyone's big brother. You know, if one of us got in strife, he was the one. You know, he'd come and sort it out for
pull
us.
The cat.
You pull
the cat's tail, you get the whole cat.
You get the whole expletive cat. You know, there was some, and he used to get those big hands, and he'd be like, "This is what's going to happen." You know, and it was like, "Whoa, how do you not follow him?"
97, you were playing hooker. You were in the scrum with him and Spud.
Yeah, we were in the front row.
Him and Butsy.
Yeah.
Butsy.
Yeah.
We had Tony Butterfield every scrum. He used to just get there and get your head that close and just go doink.
Yeah, it used to sound like a watermelon. Like, boom, hollow watermelons.
Get close, Billy. We're going to headbutt this bloke. Imagine if that went on now.
I'm glad that's not me. Yeah.
You watch them now; they just come in so soft.
Yeah, the game's changed, and like even to the point where I didn't play a lot of hooker, but you'd put one arm around and keep the other one out just in case. You know, like, you never went over like that because you're open.
And Adam Muir, one of our mates, he had 2 knee replacements, and he did the walk.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, 2 knee replacements, but you know, prepared to go and walk 150 k's for his mate, you know, who's suffering from brain cancer. So, mate, there's so many stories of people doing extra for people in the fight of their life, and then literally in the fight of their life.
Mark Hughes obviously giving hope to so many families. How's he going himself?
He's good. Yeah, he's tremendous, really, considering it. You know, you look at the stats, it's the biggest killer of people cancer killer of people under 40 and kids under 10. You know, and 8 out of 10 people don't live longer than 5 years. So Mark's coming up towards 10 now. So that's a pretty awesome achievement for him. But I think there's a bit of magic in that. You know, maybe there's a reason that he's got it, is that he can help other people, and we'll get to the point where we can find a cure.
There's your body. You played pretty hard.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good, Freddie. I don't know why. I think I've got a theory, maybe because I was pretty small and you just glance off people, you know, where the big boys
You didn't
just
glance off my rib, mate. my rib still sticks out because of you.
Yeah, you can blame him for that. He used to wind me up all the time.
Wind him up all the time. He'd defend inside. Billy, here comes Freddie. Break his ribs. Break his ribs.
I come charging down the blind side, straight out, going for Joey. He just caved me, and I just remember going, "Argh!" And then my rib just has never been stuck out ever since.
There was a funny one day. We were playing against Brisbane, and Big Gordon was just giving it to Matty on that edge all day, and I thought, I've had enough of this. I had a gut full of Gordy torturing me mate Matty. So I come flying across and I blindsided him. I got half a decent shot on him, and as soon as I did it, I went, oh no, what have I done?
Poke the bear.
What have I done? And honestly, he was like a big tiger just walking behind. I was saying to Bedgie, get me the ball. I've got to get this over and done with. It's getting worse. It's getting worse by the second. Yeah, he got hold of me, spun me around, smashed me on the ground. He was stuttering. He was that angry. He said, that's one apiece. I said, right, mate, we'll call it a draw.
We'll call it a draw. Because you played everywhere. When you started, you played on the wing even?
I played a couple of minutes. I've played a couple of minutes in every position in first grade.
You played in the halves there at some stage?
Yeah, a couple of trials. I think you got injured against Para, ended up in 5'8". Played in the centre a couple of times.
Front row, back row, hooker, lock.
Yeah. So
everyone loved playing with you. Who did you like playing with? Who was some of the players that you enjoyed?
Of course, loved playing with Joe, because you know, if you tackled someone or got a good shot on someone, he was behind just whooping and whopping and carried on. You know, it was like your mates just down the park, just ripping in and having fun. You know, but obviously Chief, Butsy, Adam Muir. But I always loved playing with
Matthew.
Paul. Matthew.
Say Matthew.
Yeah, well, Matthew actually taught me how to run holes, really. Yeah. Matthew. So I loved playing with Matty, but he used to torture us all the time as well with his pranks. But I loved playing with Paul Marquette. He was great. He was one of those guys, very unsung hero, but anything that needed to be done, he'd do for the team. You know, he was just awesome. And I remember tipping on a ball to him one day against Manly in '95 to get into the game to go in the grand final. And Ian Roberts came out of line. It was a muddy day and absolutely hammered it. I thought I killed him. I thought, I've killed Pepe. And he's stuck in the mud like that, and he just got up like a robot, like nothing happened. I went, oh my God, he's the toughest bloke I've ever seen.
Machine. Well, thanks for coming down, Bill, and thanks so much for what you do for the Mark Hughes Foundation. And yeah, it was a good chat, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Stay with us after the break. More of the Sunday Footy Show. Pepe. Welcome back. Turn it up. It's back. Look at everyone cheering at home. And what a guest, the great Mark O'Mealy. Ogre, we just saw that, the Dogs of War, how tough that club is. Some of your toughness and your one-on-one battle, in particular with Bryce Gibbs when you was at the Tigers. Talk us through that. Now, was this all premeditated, you going at Bryce and him going at you?
A little bit. 05, they won the comp. We didn't make the finals. I had Mace and Nate and Braith and these fellas telling me, the next crop were coming through, take your Origin jumper, Australian jumper. The week before, we had a bye and I'd done something wrong and I had to play reserve grade. And folks, he goes, there's your punishment. You're playing 80 minutes reserve grade. Boys all come watch while I had the bye, winding me up. And Anzac Test was about to get named, and yeah, they just kept feeding it, and I just kept probably wanting to listen to it and bought into it.
Ogo, where's the nickname come from?
When I was
We can obviously see why, but who christened you?
yeah, gorgeous. Yeah, awesome. When I was at Norths, in Northern League, I was at Norths. It used to be on pretty easy, and then when I started making it through the grades at NRL, it was either Adam Muir, Jamie Goddard, Paul Stringer. We always hung out together, and back then we didn't have towels and that in the gym, and you just go wrestle suit to wrestle suit, on the bench, off the bench, and you know, I perspirate pretty easy.
You're a sweater. You're a sweater.
So, yeah, so sweater, and it just went, you're like a big sweaty ogre. And then
it stuck.
It stuck. And then once, as a kid, once you try and get rid of it, you know the story from there, it just rolls.
Well, you played front row in the 90s as a teenager. What was that like?
Yeah, awesome. Mate, 17, it was awesome. Yeah, I couldn't ask for anything more. I was just lucky of family circumstances. Dad's youngest of 13. His nephews are older, so I had such... Growing up, being the youngest of that sort of family, I felt a lot older. So for me, when I debuted, I thought I was probably 21, 22. I'd grown up in the country and stuff like that. So for me, I didn't really know my age, if that makes sense.
You're always the intimidator. Was that evident through your juniors as well?
No. Maybe a little bit. I was just a big kid when I started in under-10s, scoring tries and stuff. But yeah, I probably got questioned through that. I had to go and train and do a lot of boxing training and get asked a lot of questions over and over and over. And that probably instilled my toughness, if that makes sense.
That Origin clip, were you yelling out at Mick Crocker? Because you and Croc used to go at it. Look at this. Petro would get a year now for that. What happened there?
It's ironic. So I had, literally when this was coming out, I just had my neck surgery, so I went, oh yeah, makes sense. No, just that's the best part of the game, is taking the hit up, setting it. As a middle, your job is, and playing with you guys telling us to set platforms, run, quick play.
Run hard.
Run hard.
Big.
Like, the job's pretty simple, so for me, it was just, yeah, that was my favourite part of the game, like taking that kick off.
What about watching the game now? Like, a lot of what you were renowned for, like that real sort of physical, personal battles, a lot of that's been taken out of the game to a degree. What do you
maybe
think now?
because the game's too fast, like not too fast, it's the moment, you just keep moving moment to moment. I think it's a lot more brutal than my era. You know, it might have been 3-6 times a game. Now every collision's like brutal. I look and squirm and go, how are these boys going to feel when they're getting older? But in saying that, the era I was in, you could get away with a bit more, so you go and chase people, where now the game's cleaned up for the good.
You say you focused on the simple part of the game and kept your game simple. You're a coach now.
Yep,
do you think about the game differently?
Yeah, Sticky actually moved this question at the start of the year. How do you coach? Do you coach how you want to be coached? I try and just help kids. You know, we've all got a story, and there's a lot of stories. If I can help them define their role, give them just individual positional trademarks to work on, then I think that can benefit them with a lot of repetition. You can't get bored with the basics. The basics, you know, today's final series, it's going to be, our game this afternoon, it's just going to be, they're going to grind, high speed, high completion rate, and just go at it. And you know, if we can instill that into the next crop, then it's healthy for the future, and it gives them a leg up when they're coming through our systems.
You had some health dramas in the offset. I don't think anyone knows about this.
I kept it quiet until Mace found out.
Willie.
And everyone.
So you had
Don't keep a secret, Willie?
So yeah, the end of
you had a back operation.
Yeah, so the end of last year, you know, as we all do, we neglect stuff when we retire. Back was playing up for a while, so I went and got to get my lower back fused. I woke up and in emergency with, yeah, just some delusional stuff going through my head, and seeing the family and some really close friends and that by. So throughout the surgery, my heart stopped twice.
So you died? You died on the slab, yeah?
Yeah. So another month on one.
So you had a heart attack twice, and you're Gonski.
Yeah, obviously I don't remember.
Yeah.
Obviously you wake up and your chest and all that's very sore, and you see the people around you that you care about. But yeah, had to go through. I had to wear heart monitors for a long period. And try and get through to see what was wrong. It come through a nerve, just some correspondence through a nerve. So then I had my neck and thoracic done as well.
It's changing,
after.
Changed your
I said to you earlier, I'm starting to feel a lot better. Yeah, look, I remember we played a game this year at Belmore and you were there watching your son and you were telling me about you could go and surf again. And I went, all right, well, I want to be able to do that and stop in pain. So I think I feel better now. In the last, couple of weeks, I've been getting better. So I'm not even a year, Joey. So I'm 4 months to the neck and about 11 months for my lower back.
Yeah.
So I am getting better. Yeah, I'm not a great golfer, but I'll probably have to slowly get back into that.
Wow.
How's Sandy going? How does Sandy handle everything?
Sandy's your wife?
Sandy the wife.
Yeah, so we planned it for her to get double knee replacement 6 weeks before and then me to go and be back. And it's always been about me. The same time when she had her 2 ACLs done in 06, it was about me again. I'd broke my leg in a test match at Brisbane, so, and then she had to look after me. So, yeah. But no, we're going well.
Some true or false? You and Sandy, did you used to practice each other, tackling each other in the backyard?
There's a little bit of
Hey,
truth.
true or false?
True or
True or
false?
false?
Did you and Sandy used to work on your
There was no
defence?
tackle, it was hit-ups.
Oh, hit-ups.
Bump pad, bang. Yeah.
Did you used to rub dank rub into your head? True or false?
Yes, yep.
Pre-game fights, were they all premeditated where you'd pick someone out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you listen too much to Willie Mason before a game?
No. Like Mace, you'd feed off his energy if you were a bit down. Mace was Mace. Like you'd get him ready, and then as he got older, you'd just make sure he was ready to go.
That early 2000s team, Mace, Sonny Bill, Nate Miles, Roy Asatasi, Redmond. What was it like playing with all those?
Jonathan Thurston.
Yeah.
But that forward pack.
And then, yeah.
It was. That's the best no one knew.
It was something special. Like the 04 grand final, we lose Pricey. You've got Roy Asatasi on the bench. So yeah,
Bobcat, there's no.
very lucky to come through that era. And most of these boys were all brought through the pathways in that era. So it was a pretty special moment, and very lucky to be a part of that squad. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, but got to have some good experiences with these fellas.
Mate, a lot of clubs have their own sort of character. The Dogs have always been renowned for the family club. Why the family club?
Yeah, you're spot on. So I started at Norths and went to Northern Eagles. With the liquidations for them 2 clubs, there were some issues. And I had the great Wayne Beavis management at the time. Management. And he goes to me, mate, you've got a young family. You had your first son at 16 and then second at 18. We need to get you a family club. Went to Melbourne, North Queensland, Roosters, and then went to Canterbury, and it just fit. So it was really good. Walked out of the meeting. I shook Punchy's hand and walked down to the car, and Beaver said, well done, you just locked in 3 years. So he made the decision for me, and it was probably the best decision that worked out for my career.
You're still at the club coaching in the juniors.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ex-players coaching in the juniors. You've got Josh Jackson,
Mate, Jacko,
Steve Turner.
Yep, we've got a lot coming through the pathways, and we've got a lot of ex-players that coming out. Like Willie's still there, comes in, helps your session wherever he can. We had Roy Asatasi as well. So we've got some really good people around the club. And I think it's good because the guys connect to different people, so having different variations. We've also got Andrew Ryan doing our regional, and Jamie Feeney. So there's a few we've got around. So, for the different people, coaches, style, we seem to cover it. Grubb's even in there as well, doing kicking all the time. So yeah, there's a lot of us, and we get to try and nurture these generation through.
What about some of the front rowers you played against? What about Petro? Tell us about playing
Yeah, Petro was the toughest. Like Webke was in his prime.
Petro the toughest?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he didn't stop. You'd hit him, run at him, hit him, he'd just keep coming. I got him one day at Penrith. Freddie was coaching us off the kick-off. His eyes rolled, and I thought I had him. I stood up, and he tore my hip pointer off. So you just can't get in. Yeah, it was so hard, and such a humble gentleman. Yeah. And I got to room with him on 3 tours. So very respectful. As I said,
it was an era of great front rowers, wasn't it? That early 2000s.
We had all the New South Wales ones: Jason Rolls, Luke Bailey, and then all of a sudden in Queensland, there was a host of them.
Shane Webke.
Yeah, and like I said, Webke was probably he was in his prime probably 2000 when I was a kid. Where Petro, when I was probably in my prime, was the hardest.
What was it like for you, Freddie, playing with Ogre?
Yeah, well, actually, we had a couple of great games together. I got a real memorable one we played together. I think it was in 2001.
You and Croc.
Ogre set me up for a try. Well, one thing about Ogre, a bit like what we were saying before, is I'd always catch the ball off kickoffs, and I love having that relationship with the front row. You just say, mate, you set the standard. You get one run. You only do this once, the first run. So I used to love doing that. We always used to want to receive. So I'd always want to receive the ball, and I used to love that first hit up, the first part of the game.
What would you say to him before he hit it up?
Mate,
Scream.
exactly.
I was
bit of abuse, but talk
I was
about
fried
that
that game, and Freddie was calling me Max all game, and I remember he yelled at me, Max, I need you, run, I'm going to push with you. Look at Webke's wobbling, get to him, and I stumbled through and...
And then you set up the trot, didn't you?
And that's when your halves, like that era.
Yeah.
As later we got on, your halves didn't really talk. But when I was younger, your halves were dictating to, so it made it so easy.
Wow.
If no one's talking to me, what do you probably do? I'd probably fill it to the back of the ruck and tuck away. But because he's pushing me, telling me to run that line, look at your cues, look what's in front of you. So I was
Did you just
very
not
lucky.
know his name, or did you just call him Max?
Just Mad Max.
Mad Max.
Mad Max, is that why?
I think that was at the Empire like one night.
What about you and Mace, you and Willie? You got a great relationship? You got any good mate? Because he's texted me, he's watching. So just hammer him, throw him under the bus.
No, mate, we respect each other that much. We grew up near each other. We've played in so many teams together. Mate, I love him. He's just so full of energy. When I need a dose or I'm feeling down, I just ring Big Mace and just lifts you off the table. Talking about greatest front rowers, I played against Willie once, but I reckon if I had to play against him, he would have been up there as well. I think
Really?
he was very physical. I watched some stuff he done where I'd played with other players that couldn't probably cop that, and Mace always stood up through controversial and the physicality.
A lot of people wouldn't know we all had a year together at the Roosters, 2008, and we got to the semi-finals. What do you remember about that year?
I remember we bowed out first two finals, just like Canberra did. I remember that was one that I thought we could have won that year. I thought we had a good enough team. It was when momentum was starting to swing with the refs, and that we dominated both first halves and then fell away in the second half. And I remember poor Saliola getting knocked out off
That was
kick-off.
Reuben knocked him out, yeah.
So, and like I said, Reuben, very tough. I loved him when he was at Canberra, but probably when I played him in the middle, he was at the end.
Yeah.
That's why I can, easily back Petra.
Wow. Well, thanks for coming on, mate. We could talk all day. It'd be so good. But you're going to stick around? You've got the pass off.
Might throw a couple in.
This will be really entertaining watching Ogre pass. Stay with us more after this for the Sunday Footy Show. Hello and welcome to Turn It Up. Special day. We've got the King, Wally Lewis. Wally, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, Joey.
All that stuff, Origin footy. What did it mean to you to represent Queensland?
It was the ultimate honour. I dreamed about playing representative footy one day. We used to come along and watch New South Wales really thrash Queensland year in, year out, and to be able to have our players come home, the ones that were based in Sydney, and go into a state of origin battle full of confidence. It was just the ultimate.
Wally, some comments there from some of our greatest players, our greatest coaches and greatest rugby league minds talking about you like that. You nicknamed the King. How does all this sit with you?
Well, it's an honour, Billy, but I've got to say that the nickname The King was actually given to me as an insult. Ray Price gave it to me, and it was just before a State of Origin game kicked off, and they said to Ray, well, what do you think about Lewis? Will he be the player for Queensland to go it? And he said, oh, look, I'm sick and tired of hearing about him. He said, fair dinkum, he thinks he's the king anyway. And,
And
that went on and on and on and on, and it just never stopped. And Alfie and Gino and all the boys were again, King, come over here, King, let's have a drink with you, King. So it really hasn't stopped ever since. So it's one that wasn't accepted all that comfortably.
You captained Queensland 29 times in the first 33 games. It was semi-professional back then. What would you say your leadership style was in that arena?
Well, I think I learnt what it was all about, the leadership. To be honest, mate, I probably didn't know too much about it. I wasn't a captain in my younger days. When I had the opportunity to be involved in conversations with Arthur Beetson all about leadership, and he used to say that's what the Queenslanders need, is some sort of leadership. I was around about the same age as all the rest of the guys, and I know you've probably heard me say this one 100 times, but we had a group of blokes that were all born in 1959 or 60. Colin Scott, Kerry Bowstead, Gene Miles, Mel Meninga, Chris Close, myself, Mark Murray, Paul Vaughton, Wally Fullerton-Smith, Brian Niebling, Greg Dowling, Greg Kinescu and Dave Brown. Every one of those blokes was born in either 1959 or 1960, and by the time that we'd got to play senior grade footy, we'd played a whole pile of games against each other or alongside each other in the junior grades.
Well, when you were playing in the 80s at Origin, that's when I first started watching rugby league. I had an AFL background, and I used to record the games and re-watch them over and over and just study the way you played. And it gave me, or influenced me a little bit the way, you know, you always wanted the ball when the game was in the balance. That was something I learned watching you. But did you watch anyone or learn from any player in particular when you were growing up?
Peden was the guy that I watched every time. We used to have to watch the Saturday afternoon games for the Sydney competition, and I loved the way that Arthur inspired those around him. And although we played a completely different game, it was fantastic to watch the way that he made the players alongside him come up with plays that they mightn't normally do. So I thought it was just a really easy way to be inspired myself to try and play a little bit better.
Billy asked you about your leadership. You'd take on Mark Geyer. He was bullying all you guys. So you could do it either way, Wally. You could do it with the ball defensively, but then you stood up and wanted to fight MG.
Yeah.
Talk about standing up with the bully. Here it is.
That was absolute stupidity on my part. He's a lot bigger than me, a lot tougher, probably won a lot more fights. I don't think I ever did win one. We're just trying to inspire the Queensland blokes to be able to go out and not take anything from New South Wales. They were all about being very, very dominant in that game, and to try and stand up. I didn't think he was going to throw one, or I was very hopeful he wasn't going to throw one. I'd still be snoring.
You speak about inspiration, and who in today's game do you love watching? Who's the player that you just love keeping your eye on when they play today?
Harry Grant.
Yeah.
Love watching him play. Love watching the way that he's sort of taken on some of the directions from a wonderful coach. And I think that the way that he's inspired those around him has done some wonderful things for Melbourne Storm. And as you know, Billy, I'm a chronic Melbourne Storm fan. Have enjoyed watching them for a long, long time. And I think Harry's certainly taken over a lot of the things that some of the older players have done.
Yeah. JT, Lockie, you got to wear the number 6 maroon jersey. What did that mean?
Yeah, well, there's only a handful of games that I've ever really been nervous for, and that was wearing the number 6 after Lockie for the Kangaroos. And I remember in 2008 when he did his knee, Scotty Prince come into number 7, and I was moved to number 6. And that series, I was extremely nervous because of the players that came before me that wore that number 6 jersey, and just trying to do the best in that position. Like King made the number 6 in that jersey, you know. He put number 6 on the map, and then Lockie, and so you just try and do your best there.
Well, what I said before, I used to watch the games on repeat, and the number 6 Queensland jersey is the most famous ever. So to actually get the jersey and have to wear it and fulfil your responsibility was a huge, a lot of expectation on that, but also a huge responsibility. But just being able to wear it, the jersey after someone like Wally Lewis was very, very special.
Wally, on the field, you're pretty much invincible, bulletproof, but you've had some health battles after your career finished. How did all that feel going through all those challenges that you can't really control that stuff?
No. Well, the early ones was the epilepsy times, Billy, when I went to Melbourne, and you were kind enough to spend plenty of time with me and help me fit in very well at Melbourne. I've got to thank the doctors at the Austin Hospital down there that have allowed me to enjoy life all over again. I haven't had a seizure since that occasion where I went to the hospital, and that was 2007 when the surgery took place. And it was fantastic. So I got to thank you guys and Melbourne Storm for taking me on and giving me the opportunity to be able to talk about footy, even when part of my brain was removed. And I get told by my good mate Gene Miles these days that I must have taken a considerable amount because there's not much left.
Wally, you're an immortal, but unfortunately we don't live forever. When you do kick the bucket, where are you going to be buried? There's talk you're going to be buried here.
Yeah. Oh, that's the story. I said both of my grandparents live within 300 metres of the ground here. I've been told plenty of times that I've been here that they hope I do die here, and it's as soon as possible. There's an area out the front, but I think that was it was almost a. It wasn't quite a joke, but it was brought up. But that's I've spent enough time in this place. I should be buried here.
You've buried plenty of opposition here, so it might be fitting. Hey, big game this afternoon, Wally, and talk about some of your heroics out here on this field. If you could play one more game, what jersey would it be in?
A Queensland jersey. Yeah, love to do it. I loved all of my time playing for Queensland, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to New South Wales, but it was something that it was the greatest challenge for me when I was wearing the maroon jersey, and I got the opportunity to be able to enjoy some success. I do it here at Lang Park or Suncorp Stadium. If I did it in Sydney, I know I'd get the Wally's a wanker would come out straight away, but it'd be an opportunity, I think, to take a trip down memory lane.
What about the Broncos today? What do you think?
Yeah, well, they're a bunch of young men that have got plenty of opportunities. They've got some great challenges in front of them. Not too many people do expect them to win. I think, you have a look at the opposition they're up against, who have got some pretty great challenges in front of them. They've had some tough times throughout the course of this year, but I think that it's certainly going to be a game that we're not going to forget for a long time.
Before the Broncos come in, Brisbane League, play for Valleys and Wynnum.
Yep.
Was there ever an opportunity for you to go to Sydney and play in the New South Wales Rugby League?
Yeah, well, it's the well-known one. I know you guys have heard it 100 times that I wanted to. Unfortunately, the club that I was playing for, they went broke, so it was an opportunity to get to play in Sydney. Gene Miles and myself both flew down. Kerry Packer, the great Kerry Packer, was wonderful enough to fly us to Sydney, and we got the chance to tell him how much it was going to cost Manly to get us there.
100. 120.
Well, we were only going to ask for a shorter one than that, but we asked for a little bit more than that. 150 might have come in.
150.
And Mr. Packer sort of just took us in and said, "You're easy. Get out and get the next bloke in." Gino walked in and he asked for his money and he got it, but unfortunately we didn't get the chance to be able to do it. And there's been plenty of people very happy about that. Fatty was one.
Yeah.
He said, "You would have taken the captaincy off me," and he said, anyway, he said, "I couldn't cop you." He said, "Imagine having to put up with you every day of the week."
Well, thanks for coming on, Wal. All our heroes, even though you're a Queenslander. But thanks for coming on, mate. We absolutely love you. And I think, is Freddie up to Caxton? So after the break, you're going to see Freddie at the Caxton. So
He'll be welcome.
This will be real good.